Hello, and welcome to this video presentation. My name is Paul Brett. I'm a Senior Software Support Analyst supporting the Transformation Extender product from IBM. The topic for this video is using Oracle with ITX 10 via Jdbc. Feel free to follow me on popular social media channels at Paul Brett IBM. In today's practical demonstration, I'll be taking you through the configuration of the Oracle Odbc driver. We will then connect the ITX 10 database interface designer to Oracle and generate a type tree via Odbc. I will then take you through the installation and configuration of the Jdbc driver. We will design and execute an ITX map to retrieve data via Jdbc. And then, finally, I will show the type tree modifications required to make the Jdbc connector work with the Odbc derived type tree. So we'll start this demonstration on my virtual machine running Oracle 19C. I'll fire up the Odbc Administrator applet and show you the System DSN tab where I have defined a local orac entry. Within this, I'm pointing to the orac entry in my TNS names.ora, and I'm using the Scott user, and if I test the connection with the correct password, we have connection successful. So my Odbc is configured and working. Next step is to fire up the Design Studio. In the Design Studio, you will see that I have one project called Oracle Jdbc. Within this project, I have a skeleton type tree that I've created called generic.mtt and also a skeleton map source file. We have one MDQ file that currently contains only the definition, and I have generated no type trees from this as yet. So let's open that now. Looking at the definition for the test Odbc database, you will note that I'm using the Odbc adapter connecting to the previously defined local orac database using the Scott user. If I double click on tables, we can verify that we do have a connection as the tables that I have defined as the Scott user are shown. Okay, so let's create a type tree for a query. We shall call this query query1, and the definition we're going to use is select star from test1. Okay, we're going to right click query1 and choose generate tree. I'm going to call the tree query underscore test1 to match the table. Oops, got that in the wrong place. Query underscore test1, and we click OK, and the type tree has been generated through the Odbc connection to the table. Okay, let's save that and close that for now, and we'll move on to the map. I'm going to use the test1 map, but I'm going to delete the input card for now because I don't need it, and I'm going to change the root object for my output card to be text item. And I'm also going to delete the existing rules. Okay, within my map, I'm going to use the Jdbc adapter to try to retrieve data from Oracle. I'm fully expecting this to fail, but I will then show you what you need to do to get the Jdbc driver actually working. Now the rule I'm going to use, I'm going to paste in from my clipboard, and I'll go through the different elements one by one. So we are doing a get from the Jdbc adapter. The Jdbc adapter has the connection string that starts from here and goes all the way to here. Let's walk through the various elements. So we have -URL, and for this we have Jdbc :oracle :thin : @ and then we have my server name, which for me I'm using localhost, then the port 1521, and then the database, which for me is orac. Next we have -user and -password, for which I'm using Scott Tiger, And finally, we are turning on the verbose trace. These extra items here are mostly required for the Jdbc adapter to ensure that you return more than just one row. And the last part here is the -query element, where we actually specify the database query we want to do. Select star from test 1. I've popped a last error message function on the end there so that we can get to see what's gone wrong if something does indeed go wrong. So let's enter that rule in here. Save, build and run. The map has completed successfully because I didn't wrap the get in any kind of fail function. But if we have a quick look at the output.txt file, you will note that it says that we have no suitable driver. Okay, that's fine. So what do we do to get a suitable driver? What we do is we go to our Oracle home, and within Oracle home we have a Jdbc directory, and within that we have a lib directory where you will find ojdbc8.jar, or possibly a different number depending on what version of Oracle you're using. I'm going to copy that library into my IBM ITX installation into a subdirectory called xjar. Now normally to load additional jars you would have to restart the Design Studio, but the thing with Jdbc is it will dynamically load if it suddenly finds it. So we'll go back to our map and choose run again. Now the map says that it is completed successfully, and there we have the data retrieved via the Jdbc adapter from Oracle. Okay, that's all very well and good using a get function. Let's imagine now that we want to put this on an input card and use the type tree that was generated via the Odbc adapter. I'm going to create a new map called test2. Within test2 I'm going to create a new input card. This card is going to be called in1. The type tree I'm going to use is the previously generated Odbc type tree, query underscore test1.mtt. The object I'm going to select is the dbSelect object, but I'm going to use the Jdbc driver within this input card to retrieve that data. Now my command is very similar to the command that I used in my get, and it's still in my clipboard, so I'm going to paste that in now. I need to remove the rules part of it, so we've just got the actual connection string starting with -URL and ending with the query. Okay, so everything we need to connect to Jdbc is now in the command string. If I click OK. For this map I'm going to turn on the audit log so that we can see the problem that occurs when we run this map, because I'm expecting it to actually fail input valid but unknown data found, or a similar message to that. Build, run, there we go, input valid but unknown data found. If we turn on the content trace for this map, rerun the map and then have a look at that content trace, you will note that LF is being found at the end of the data, which does not match the expected terminator of CRLF. So here's the difference between the Odbc and the Jdbc adapter. With Odbc the rows are delimited with a CRLF, whereas with the Jdbc adapter they are delimited with just an LF. So the type tree that we've generated for the Odbc adapter via the Odbc adapter is actually no good to us because it has the wrong delimiter. However, it's a good place to start by generating the Odbc type tree and then make a slight modification for it to suit our needs. So let's open that type tree now and do exactly that. In the type tree, in the row object, if we go down to the properties and expand the initiator and terminator entries, we will note that we have CRLF as the terminator. If I remove the CR and then analyze the type tree and then save the type tree, if I go back to my map, build and run now, the map has completed successfully. We can have a quick look at the MTR file, and we will note that all of the items are being correctly inserted into their respective objects in the type tree, and this map, using the Jdbc adapter to retrieve the data, is able to use the Odbc derived type tree with the manual alteration that we made. So there we go, a quick summary of how to use the Jdbc adapter to connect to Oracle database. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my video presentation today. If you found the content interesting and informative, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, as I release content such as this on a regular basis. Feel free to reach out to me on popular social media channels at Paul Brett IBM. Thank you.